And we are back. Welcome back, everybody, to this live stream. We're back for the qualifying session this time ahead of the Austrian Grand Prix here at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Styria, of course. I am once again JW97, and I'm once again joined by Dennis.
Servus.
This time we're here for the qualifying session. As you can see, there is no rain expected for the entirety of the qualifying session, so it's going to be dry running for all three sessions. So I think without further ado, let's get into the first part of qualifying. Now, I have to ask you, Dennis, like I do with everyone, who do you believe will be eliminated in the first part of qualifying?
So I made, I would say, I had a bit of thinking time on that, but I would say both AlphaTauris, one Haas, both Williams, and one Aston Martin.
I'm going to say both. I'm going to say both Williamses, both Aston Martins, and both AlphaTauris. I think it's going to be a procession, really, for who's going to get eliminated. But that's my prediction. Of course, Sontag and Galloway are back in the car, of course, because their seats were taken in practice by Dennis Graff for Ferrari and Adam Chobot for Williams. But now both Sontag and Galloway are back in their cars. And for a reminder, of course, because we didn't mention this in practice, of course, the tyres we're using here for the Austrian Grand Prix for the second race in a row is the yellow medium tyres. So it will be interesting to see what the correct strategy will be in tomorrow's race, should it be dry, of course. So that will be quite interesting as well. And it'll be interesting to see how the pit entrance holds up in this session as well, because, of course, this does create some problems with the pit entrance. But, of course, as we know, that doesn't count towards the spare car ban, as we saw a couple of races ago at Monaco. So just bear in mind of that one. But one person who'll be hoping that doesn't affect him too much is Franco Lopez, because, of course, last season, he obviously couldn't take part in Q3 because he had a crash at the pit entrance there last season and didn't set a time. Ended up starting in 10th as a result, which of course basically started the conversations of the spare car ban by accident, really. But anyway, I'm going to read to your predictions in the stream chat, guys. Xavier Weir said both Williamses, both AlphaTauris, one Alfa Romeo and one Aston Martin. Nathan has said both Williams, both AlphaTauris, one Haas and an Alfa Romeo. Von Chanek has said both Williams, both AlphaTauris, and Aston Martin and a Haas. Chris has said both Williamses, both AlphaTauris, and Aston Martin and a Haas. And Ra has said both AlphaTauris, both Williams, an Alpha, and an Aston. So quite a few there this time by for predictions. But anyway, we're about to start a lap, and it's going to be Daniel Fraser who'll be the one setting the benchmark of time for everybody to beat. There are still a few cars in the pit lane, and traffic can be a big thing around here at the Red Bull Ring, as we saw yesterday during the Formula 2 qualifying session. So I wonder if that's going to be a thing here in the top class qualifying session as Fraser comes out the first corner. There is a car on the exit of the pit lane, but I think it is too far away for Fraser to catch up, so he shouldn't have any issues with Fraser whatsoever. But I presume for a few of those guys who are out there on track, because I can see on the mini-map there is going to be somebody who's going to get held up on their lap. So bear in mind on that one as Fraser comes towards the end of the first sector and does a 23.980 in the first sector. And we're going to see what everybody else does. Chatfield at 23.883 in the first sector for him. So only two have passed the first sector point at this point. And both Chris and Daniel, in fact, were involved in an accident here last season, which cost Fraser his first points of the season. That happened down at that corner that Fraser's just passed. A few more times have come from the first sector. 24.113 for Quarg and a few 23s for a few others as well, as Fraser is now coming up towards the end of the second sector. And he does a 50.251 in the second sector, as Fraser now then comes down towards the final two turns on the racetrack. Let's see what the benchmark of time is going to be. Now comes down the pit straight, and across the line will come the Haas driver, and it is going to be a 1 minute 4.746 as Chung behind is about to start a lap, and luckily it doesn't look like she's going to get held up. Chatfield goes quickest by 0.2 of a second. Motrin then slots the second, only a couple of hundredths ahead of Daniel Fraser. Here comes Roman Quarg across the line. He slots into fourth, not a good first lap for him. Here comes Evan Byrne in the Renault across the line. He will now go. Can he go to the top? He can by 0.2 of a second. Here comes Julius Anderson in the Aston Martin, slots the fifth. P2 for Carr there. I don't know if he got slightly held up there by Anderson, as Roke only manages sixth that time, and only ninth for Franco Gambus. So not the best first laps for the Red Bulls. It's P8 for Joseph Willows. For Derry goes into fourth, a good time for him there. Galloway across the line in the Ferrari slots to fourth, as here comes Kirishima De Rosa. He goes into 10th. Miklos Gal across the line. He goes in the AlphaTauri. He goes into 14th. Felix Sontag across the line goes into 9th. Here comes Amelia Wilson across the line, goes into 12th. Rahul Patel now then in the Lamborghini goes into only 17th that time by, as here comes one of the Williams there. Did Patel make a mistake? I think he might have done because he was 2 tenths down in the second sector, and yes, he did. He went wide over the curve at the second to last corner there. So just caught a snap of oversteer there, Dennis.
Yeah, indeed. That.
As I think his microphone's just cut there. So Griffiths now then goes into 17th there. As now we look at Davy Kupak, who goes 18th. As now we look at Lopez, who's 1/10 down on Byrne in the second sector, as he's now going to be approaching the final corner. And onto the pit straight now, then he will go, as Lopez is going to cross the line, and he goes into 4th position, just slotting in behind Chris Chatfield there. Perinen goes into 10th, as here comes Laura Chung in the Lamborghini, and she goes only 15th. With that time by. So yeah, as expected, Dennis, quite a few interesting points and quite a bit of traffic as expected on that first lap. And so far, we got Garber in the drop zone as a result of it. I wonder if that had something to do with Roke, you would imagine.
Yeah, could may have been, but it's still a lot of time in this session here, so everyone can and probably will improve.
Yeah, indeed. So far then in the drop zone, is Patel is also in the drop zone because of that mistake he made earlier. In the drop zone, we have Quag, Garber, Gow, Griffiths, Kupak, and Patel. So that's what the bottom 6 look like. Willow's just in the cusp of the top 16 threshold. Same goes with Laura Chung as well. And so far, Byrne at the top by 1/10 of a second ahead of Armarcar at this point in time. But we've still got plenty of laps to go here in Q1, and I would expect a little bit better from the likes of Rahul Patel and Roman Quag there. So that's that really. So as we wait to see who's going to be the first on track to do the second runs on the racetrack, as everybody's trying their best to avoid each other and trying to avoid making contact. Of course, Patel made that mistake, so he'll be keen to improve on this lap. Of course, Garber currently in the drop zone, so he needs to improve. Motrin and Videri currently, and Fraser, of course, currently up in 6th, 7th, and 8th respectively. So a pretty good first lap for those three, but you would imagine there's still going to be a lot of improvements to be made, as I've alluded to a few times so far. As all 22 cars, you can see on the timing tower on the left, are now in the pits as we wait to see who's going to be first to go out next. Of course, usually on the second runs, one driver gets left behind, so it'd be interested to see who that will be, and any of the bottom 6 will be hoping it's not them, as so we've got Chris Chatfield who's going out on track first this time by. Of course, last time by it was Daniel Fraser, but this time it is Chris Chatfield who's just coming out of the pit lane so far, currently languishing in 3rd place at the moment. His teammate Galloway, despite not having any time in the car in practice, currently in 5th place, so currently a 3rd and 5th so far for Ferrari, which I think is a little bit of a surprise because so far during this session at least, because you wouldn't imagine the Ferrari to do well on power tracks, Dennis, given that their strength usually comes at downforce circuits.
Yeah, indeed, but they currently are doing a good job, I think. But also a few cars were compromised on the first one, so that could be also a factor for them to be a bit up much higher. A bit. Wait, I confused myself there. So it's yeah, but anyway, let's focus on Chatfield's lap here.
Yes, indeed, as there's actually a Red Bull coming out of the pit lane, but I think Chatfield will clear that Red Bull. Let's see if he will get any traffic, though, as he comes out of the first corner, though. And it looks like he's just going to avoid any traffic there as the AlphaTauri behind just comes out of the pits. That AlphaTauri being Miklos Gale, the man who actually replaced Chris Chatfield at the team, of course. Obviously, Chatfield now driving for Ferrari, and I bet in a way he's thankful that his second choice actually came into effect, given how backwards AlphaTauri have gone this season. He's up on his personal best, though, in the first sector by 18 thousandths of a second, as he now approaches turn number 4 on the track. I think this is classed as turn 4 according to the map. I don't know where they've got 10 corners from, if I'm being totally honest, but there we are. As Chris Chatfield now then comes around towards the end of the second sector. Let's see if he's still up on his personal best as he now approaches the end of the second sector, and he is still up, but only by 29 thousandths of a second, so I would imagine he won't improve on his position, but I think he'll get a little bit more closer to Armar Carr, providing he doesn't make any mistakes, which he hasn't done. So Chatfield down the pit straight, and across the line will come the Ferrari driver, and he does improve, but remains in third position, so as I was expecting there. Here comes Armar Carr, who's not up on his personal best. He's currently in second place at the moment, just behind Evan Byrne, and Carr does not improve. He stays in second place. Roke is on improvement, and he goes up to fourth, so much better for him there. Daniel Fraser across the line, he stays where he is at the moment, which is P9. Here comes Joseph Wells, who's up on his personal best by 0.2 of a second, so that could suggest he had some traffic issues on his first lap. But anyway, here comes Wells now, and he comes down the pit straight in the McLaren. Across the line he will go. He goes up into 8th position, 0.4 off of Evan Byrne. Roland Motrin across the line, he does not improve. Quark goes up to 3rd. That's a big improvement there for Roman Quark, so maybe starting to show the form that we've been seeing from him that was missing at France back. P12 for Julius Hansen as Lopez is about to start his next lap. Here comes Andre Verderi, Quark's teammate in the other Alfa Romeo. Verderi crosses the line and he stays where he is at the moment. Patel goes up to 10th, so he gets out of the drop zone, pushes Wilson now in the drop zone as Byrne looks like he's improving on his personal best, and he does improve. He breaks into the 1 minute freeze now. 1 minute 3.945 for Byrne as De Rosa goes up into 4th. Felix Sontag goes up to 14th. Oh, Galloway's had a crash. Galloway has had a crash coming into the pit lane.
Is it related with it?
Yep, as was that it looks like. In fact, it was actually a mistake, not because of a collision. In fact, with somebody else. So it looks like that Galloway.
He was also on the slap.
So hopefully it doesn't end up like a Franco Lopez situation, and he actually stops his car so that the marshals can get hold of him. But that will be the end of the session for him, regardless, because he's actually, in fact, or will it? Because he actually.
Oh, that's.
He made a mistake, but then again, you could blame the pit lane entrance here because of the way the turning circle is. So I'd say it wouldn't count because of a pit lane entrance thing. But I'd say that, but I'm hoping at the same time a Franco Lopez situation doesn't happen to him at the same time. I'd say a pit lane entrance, if I'm being totally honest, Yuri, because of the way he sort of turned into the pit lane there. So. That depends if he stops, of course. We'll keep an eye on that. Anyway, let's have a look at what the rest of the drivers are doing.
Gamba only to 13th.
As Key Park doesn't improve, Wilson doesn't improve. Gamba only up to 13th. I wonder if he had some traffic again on his lap as more cars start to pile in behind Jake Galloway.
Traffic jam in the pits.
Let's see, is there anybody else on a lap meanwhile, rather than looking at the traffic jam? Yes, there is, in fact. Jesus Perinin is on a lap, and so is one of the Mercedeses, I believe, from what I just saw there. I think there's actually a Mercedes on a lap as well, I think, in front. I might be wrong on that, in front of Perinin. But Perinin is actually up on his personal best, meanwhile, as he's coming towards the middle sector. Griffiths has improved, but remains in 20th position. As here comes Jesus Perinin now then, who is up on his personal best, but not up on Evan Byrne, who's coming into the pit. Perinin now then rounds the final corner, and onto the pit straight he will go. It seems that the jam is actually cleared now there, and Perinin up into 8th position. Did Galloway actually get towed back to the pits or not? I'm not sure. That's Perinin with less fuel in his car. As I think these are the second runs done with as a result of that. So there is Galloway, in fact, getting towed back into the pit. So he might get stuck, but we'll see, in fact.
And that means his Q1 is over.
He'll have to hope that Q2 is better for him. So let's see then, as he's actually got a wheel back on, actually. So maybe it might not do what happened to Lopez last year. Maybe it's a first garage thing. Who knows? Like with what happened at... obviously, I know it was a separate reason for why the first garage was a problem at Zandvoort, but you never know. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that and see if Galloway comes back out on the track. If it does, then he doesn't have the problem, of course, because we've said that pit lane entrance does not count towards the spare car ban, as we saw, obviously, at Monaco a couple of races ago. So let's see if Galloway does actually make it back onto the track.
Yep.
Anyways, Laura Chung, I think, is about to go back out on track, which she does, and I think she'll be first on track this time instead of Chris Chatfield. So out on track she goes for her third one. We could be looking at maybe 4 runs on here, depending on how much.
It's her second run because she stayed in the pits last time out.
Yes, true, good point. Yes, but maybe we could see 4 runs for some of these guys. Maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. Depends on how much time there is left on the clock. But Motrin has also just come back out onto the track as well. Chung's actually in the drop zone, I just realised. She's down in 21st, so she desperately needs to improve, obviously. Garber, as we mentioned earlier, only got up to 13th on his lap, so I wonder if he actually had some traffic on that occasion. So, anyway, I'm going to keep an eye on Galloway's name. Where is Galloway? He's 9th at the moment, so I will keep an eye on that. As Quag is in the pit lane, is coming out on track, as is Roke. Videri's just come out on track as well.
Motkin, I think, as well.
I'm just trying to keep an eye on seeing if Galloway actually moves or whether he stays in the pits this time, because you never know, of course. If one car gets left behind, then I don't know, really. I don't think it's that conclusive, because we know that usually one car gets left behind in between runs. But anyway, we'll keep a note on that, as Chung is about to start her next lap now then. As she starts her lap, as she now comes down the pit straight now then and up towards turn 1. There is a car coming out on the right-hand side there. Some more cars visible out. That is a Ferrari, in fact. Is that Galloway? And it is Galloway.
Chatfield.
So it's Galloway, because Galloway's name just flashed off. So Galloway has not got stuck.
Good point.
So there you go then. So Galloway did not get affected by the glitch that happened with Lopez last season. So I guess he's got a lot of magic. So anyway, let's see. As Chung is 2 temps up on her personal best in the first sector. So you could argue she may have had traffic on her first lap, because I don't think she had a mistake from what I remember. I know that Patel did, but Chung didn't. So, if she's not careful, she could close up a bit to Galloway, who's currently in 9th position in this qualifying session. So here comes Chung now then, who comes around the left-hander, as it's only Lopez and Perinin who are left in the garage at the moment. So one of them's going to get left behind on this run. Be interested to see which one that will be, as Chung is 3 temps up on her personal best and 3 temps down on Byrne. So looking at that, you'd imagine she might be around where Galloway is at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see. And it's going to be Lopez that stays behind on this occasion. Perinin has gone out on track. In fact, I've only just realised Lopez and Perinin have set the same time as each other. Chung goes up into 5th position. So Lopez and Perinin currently tied on the same lap time at the moment. Of course, Lopez set the time first, so he's ahead. And the vanilla game would actually read that, because Mercedes have a higher garage order than Renault, of course. Not like it matters anymore, of course, because of the mistake rate. But there we are. Anyway, but Chung went up to 5th. Here comes Roman Quag in the Alfa Romeo. He crosses the line, no improvement for him. Here comes Roke, who's up on his personal best. Roke currently in 7th position. Can he improve? Across the line he will go, and he does improve to go up into 2nd, 2 temps off of Evan Byrne there. Videri's on improvement. He goes up into 8th. So 4th and 8th so far for the 2 Alfa Romeos. Maybe they were hiding something during practice. Willows is currently up on his personal best. Across the line he will go, and he goes into 4th position. Gets in front of Quag. De Rosa, meanwhile, not on an improvement, and he's going to cross the line and remain in 6th position. Fraser, cross the line he will go, and he stays in 16th. He's just in the cusp of that top 16 threshold. Anderson doesn't improve. He stays in 18th and still in the drop zone, as I think Garber was actually behind him there. So maybe more traffic problems for Garber. His car went up into 3rd place, 0.333 behind Byrne, coincidentally there, as Gal crosses the line on improvement and goes up to 13th, pushes Fraser into the drop zone. Garber just in the cusp of that top 16 threshold. Chatfield's improved, Patel's improved, Gal is improved. Here comes Galloway, goes up into 5th position. Here comes Sontag now, then across the line he will go. No improvement for him. He stays in the drop zone in 18th. Q-Pocket's up on his personal best, and he's currently down in last. He's the only one over a second behind Evan Byrne. So across the line will go David Q-Pot. Where can he place himself? And he goes, well, he stays in 22nd, still over a second, but he still improves regardless. Wilson doesn't improve. She stays in 20th. Those two still remaining in the drop zone. Griffiths is not up on his personal best, and he's currently on the back row of the grid at the moment, as now Griffiths comes around the final 2 turns. Luckily, that Alfa Romeo in front that was just coming into the pits was not going to hold him up there, because that is a common trait around here at Austria. Griffiths across the line, he will go, and no improvement. He stays in 21st position. Anybody else on lap? Yes, Perinin's on lap, and he's up on his personal best by a 10th of a second, as now he's coming up towards the final 2 turns. Is he going to get held up? I think he only just got away with it, but I think he might have had to lift a little bit there. But we'll have to wait and see when he crosses the line then. Perinin down the pit straight, and across the line he will go, and he did get held up because he's down his personal best and no improvement. So what a shame there. What could have been for Perinin? As I think there was somebody else on the lap, and no, in fact there isn't. I think Garber may have already completed his lap and he got held up. So he's currently in the top 16. So he's got to hope that nobody in the bottom 6 gets out of their garage before that 1 minute free threshold, really, that was set by Evan Byrne. So Garber in a bit of a difficult situation here at the moment, Dennis.
Yeah, indeed. He really needs to hope that no one improves. But also one thing, we don't have two guys having the same time, but we have two other guys to set the same time because Quark and Diosa have the same time.
Do indeed. Quark setting the time first before DeRosa, but the vanilla game won't recognise that, of course, because it recognises it in gauge order. McLaren have got a higher gauge placing than Alfa Romeo, of course. But again, doesn't really matter anymore because we have the mistake rate. But of course, Quark ahead of DeRosa and Lopez ahead of Perrin because those two are still on the same time. And speaking of Quark, he's actually coming out on track, so he's going to have one more lap. He's going to actually complete his number of laps before the session comes to a close. And so he'll be doing one more flying lap before Q1 comes to an end. Anybody else going to join him? Of course, we know that Lopez got left behind in that last run. So is he going to get out before that 1 minute free threshold? That's the question. Is anybody in the bottom six going to get out before that 1 minute free threshold? Because if they do, that could be a bit of a worry for Garber, providing he doesn't get out in time, of course. As Quark now then heads down towards the hairpin. As now Chung has come out on track, so that's two cars who's going to get one more flying lap in. Made that free because Lopez has just come out onto the racetrack now then. Anybody else going to join them? Yes, Videri has come out on track, so both Alfa Romeos will get one more lap in as the seconds continue to tick down on the clock. And as Fraser's on track, so Garber has got to hope and pray, really, as Motrin has also come out onto the racetrack. Garber's actually just got out before the threshold, really, so Garber may save himself, but that's that. So the guys who have just come out before that 1 minute free threshold, they'll be the only ones to do one more flying lap then, including this guy we're looking at, Roman Quark. And luckily, no traffic's going to interfere with him. He just places his car in front of, I believe that's David Kupak. He's just got out. That's just come out behind. I think he's just going to get some mileage ready for tomorrow because Kupak is officially out of qualifying, as is Sontag, Wilson, and Griffiths. And I think Anderson may have only just missed out on getting out on time. So I think Anderson is also out as well. It's only Fraser who can save his Q2 chances, but we will keep an eye out on that. As Quark now then comes out of the hairpin now, they're making his way down towards turns number 5 and 6. I believe this is classed as on the circuit, or 6 and 7, because somewhere there's a 10th corner on here. So anyways, now Quark comes up towards the end of sector 2 as he's 95,000 down on his personal best in the middle sector. So it doesn't look like that Quark is on improvement, but I think he's safe anyway because he's up in 7th place. So Quark round the final corner as the checker flag is now out, signifying the end of the session. Quark across the line, no improvement, and he stays where he is. Kupak obviously didn't have enough time to do a lap. Here is Chung, who's also down on her personal best in the first sector, but I think she's done enough to get through anyway because she's up in 9th position. Chung in the second sector, 2 tenths down on her personal best as she now approaches the final 2 turns on the racetrack now then. So in towards the final corner. Onto the pit straight now, then will come Laura Chung in the Lamborghini. Across the line, she will go, and she does not improve. She stays in 9th. Gal just getting some mileage in. Lopez does not improve. He loses time in the last sector, in fact, and stays in 12th position, but he should be safe anyway because there's only one car that can bump out Garber, and Lopez, of course, made a mistake in the second to last corner. That explains it. Videri does not improve. He stays in 11th. Here's Daniel Fraser, the only person who can knock Garber out, but he's not improving, as you can see on the def panel. Can Fraser find something in the last sector? Across the line, and no, he can't. Fraser is out, so Garber only just makes it through in the end. Motrin, no improvement. Garber doesn't improve in the last sector. So again, he might have made a mistake in the last sector, and no, it was because he got held up by Motrin, which then led to the mistake. And well, it's safe to say he's lucky to get through into Q1 then, Q2, sorry, Janice, but bit scruffy session for Garber.
Yeah, indeed, he definitely need to up his game. Oh, here's Anderson still, but he's too slow. He's out. But yeah, Garber just made it.
Rowe does improve. DeRosa improves to go up into 5th position, and that's that then. So Garber does make it through, but he really needs to tidy up in Q2, really, Dennis. But anyway, I'll get onto that in a bit. Here is your reminder then. Byrne at the top with that was way too quick, Yuri. Roke in 2nd and Chatfield in 3rd, and your bottom 6 as a reminder are Fraser, Sontag, Anderson, Wilson, Griffiths, and Kupak. It should also be reminded as well that both Byrne and Motrin carry a 5-place grid penalty, so wherever both of those guys end up in this qualifying session, they will drop 5 places back, but neither of those two got eliminated, so both of them are through into Q2. Well, in the meantime, guys, we are just going to take a brief pause for the moment as Yuri gets prepared for Q number 2. But in the meantime, guys, you can let us know your predictions on who you believe will be eliminated in the second part of qualifying. But as I was saying there, Dennis, Garber really needs to sort out his Q2 because it was very scruffy in the first part of qualifying.
Yep, it was indeed. if he wants to challenge for pole, he definitely needs to have a better Q2 first, because you have to say it was very, very lucky that he's managed to get into the Q2, because he was only one place away from it, from elimination. But yeah.
Was indeed. As apologies if I go a bit silent for a moment. I'm just trying to prepare the tweet. But first, I need to find a shot from where Evan was. So yeah, that's that really. But very interesting Q1, it's safe to say. And
Yeah,
well,
indeed.
be in for a very close session given the nature of this circuit, as we saw a little bit earlier on in this practice session. The tweet is up, and we now wait for part of qualifying to begin. Obviously, again, guys, let us know your predictions in the stream chat, and we'll read them out when Q2 gets underway. But yeah, very interesting indeed. Burns showing some very good pace, it's fair to say so far, Dennis. But with the 5-place grid penalty, if he ends up getting pole, he's probably going to kick himself.
Yep, indeed. But it would be less painful to get pole and then get the 5th place grid penalty. Has to get eliminated in Q2 and then get the penalty. So yeah, Byrne will be determined to get a good Q2 and good Q3 to reduce the damage.
Yes, indeed. And, well, he'll be hoping to get a good session. Same goes with Roland Motrin as well, who also has a 5-place grid penalty as well to remind you of. So, with that, but anyway, we've got the stream back up as we now wait for, as we now get Q2 underway. I think Yuri has put the screen down, I think, because you can still see the screen on your OBS, but now you can't. But anyway, Dennis, what is your who do you believe will be eliminated then in the second part of qualifying?
Okay, I would definitely say Motian will be eliminated, then Federi, then one Lamborghini. Then I would say, I have to check who's still there. Where Gal is then the third one.
Oh, Gal's still in Q2, yes.
Yeah, I just saw the predictions from the Giftman.
Yes. So,
then where I only have 4, I think. Then I would say I'll go bold, Red Bull.
Okay.
Then one McLaren.
Okay, I'm gonna say Gal, and I'm also gonna say Motrin. I'm then gonna say one Alfa Romeo, one McLaren. I think I'll go with as well. One Lamborghini. I think I'll go with, and I think I need one more, don't I? I think I'll go with. Who should I go with? In fact, I'll say both Alfa Romeos, in fact, rather than one Alfa Romeo. So both Alfa Romeos, a Lamborghini, Motrin, Gal, and God, it was my other one that I said earlier. I'm that forgetful. Anyway, I said it anyway. It's on stream record anyway, so that's that. So
Yeah.
anyway, let's read everybody else's predictions. So Ra has said Gal, Roland, a Renault, an Alpha, a Red Bull, and a McLaren. Von Chanek has said Gal, Motrin, an Alfa Romeo, a Renault, a Lamborghini, and a Ferrari. And Xavier has said Motrin, Videri, both Lambos, Gal, and a McLaren. So that's that. As Evan jokingly has said, me in P15. So anyway, as Garber is about to start his first flying lap of Q2 now then, and of course we mentioned a little bit earlier, he needs to have a better session here, given it was a very, very scruffy Q1 for the former championship leader, as he now comes out of the first corner and now makes his way towards the Remus curve now then. Just an uphill climb before he approaches Remus, which is this corner he's coming up to now. And right after the corner is where the end of the first sector is going to be. Round Remus he goes, and let's see what the first sector time is going to look like for Franco Gamba. And it is a 23.794 in the first sector for him. Let's see what that's like compared to everybody else. A 23.830 for Lopez, a 23.914 for Evan Byrne, a 23.981 for De Rosa, 24.214 for Gal, 24.055 for Videri, so only a couple of 24s in that first sector. But here comes Garber now then, who's approaching the end of sector 2 now then, and he does a 49.732, so quite a strong second sector there for the Italian. A 49.934. Oh, as I say that, a mistake.
Oh, he's gone wide.
Made another mistake into that corner. We've seen quite a few drivers pushing it way too hard in that second last corner. That's going to cost Gamba, and it's only a 1 minute 4.799. Here comes Lopez in the Mercedes across the line, and he goes quickest by 0.4 of a second. Byrne across the line, and he does a 1 minute 4 himself. He goes 0.4 slower exactly to Lopez. P2 now for De Rosa. Here comes Gal in the Alpha Tauri, and he slots into 5th. Videri crosses the line, goes to 5th. Here comes Chris Chatfield now then across the line. He goes into 2nd, only 7 thousandths off of Franco Lopez. Motrin crosses the line, goes to 7th. Willows goes quickest by 1/10 of a second, a 1 minute 4.214. Patel goes into 6th. Here comes Amar Khan in the Mercedes. He's going quicker than Willows in both sectors, and let's see where he can go. Can he go to the top across the line? And he can by only 0.02 of a second. So Carr goes to the top. Here comes Chung in the Lamborghini. Seems to be down on Carr in the first 2 sectors. Here comes Chung across the line. She will go in the Lamborghini, and she goes into 5th. Here comes Jesus Perinin in the Renault into the final corner, and onto the pit straight will come the Spaniard, and across the line he will go. Where can he place his Renault? And he goes into 6th place only. Roke across the line in the Red Bull, and he goes into 6th position. Here comes Galloway across the line, and he goes into 8th. Here comes Roman Quarg in the second Alfa Romeo, and he goes into 14th position. So 13th and 14th for the Alfa Romeos. But yeah, we talked about how you needed to tidy up, Dennis. Well, that's not a very good start indeed. He was looking very quick, and then he just seemed to drop it at the second to last corner.
Yeah, it seems like he's definitely gone in there a bit too quick, then got onto the curb too much at the exit, and then lost the lap completely. He definitely needs to improve next time around. I mean, he definitely needs to.
Yes, indeed, as he's currently in the drop zone. Byrne is currently in the cusp of the top 10 at the moment. Motrin down in 15th, and so far, if he were to stay in 15th, of course, because that's one of the eliminator positions, if he were to stay in 15th, then he will start in 20th for tomorrow's Austrian Grand Prix, because, of course, he has that 5-place grid penalty for anybody who's just joined us. Same goes for Evan Byrne as well. There's 2 drivers with a 5-place grid penalty in this qualifying session as we wait for the second flying laps to begin of Q number 2. But so far, Carr at the top and currently in the drop zone is Patel, Gamba, Videri, Quarg, Motrin, and Gal at this point in time. As we wait to see,
indeed.
as we wait for all the second runs to begin of Q2, as both Lamborghinis are back out onto the track. And before you say that's dog commentator, no, it's not. It's my other dog that's barking this time by. So that's not the actual dog commentator that you hear most of the time. So I don't know what she's barking at. She's clearly about something outside. But anyway, as we wait for the second flying laps, let's just ignore one of my dogs barking in the background. As we got a Red Bull on track, and it is Franco Gamba once again not wasting any time, just like on the first run, and he really needs to tidy up that second to last corner because, well, I think he would have easily have got it into the top 10, Dennis, had it not been for a mistake that he's been doing a couple of times in this session.
Yeah, without that mistake, he would be, I would say, even in the top 6. But yeah, now he really has to put the hammer down, and he has to improve.
Does indeed, as it's currently, as I just want to point out, currently a Mercedes 1-3 at the moment. Both Carr and Lopez looking pretty strong so far in this qualifying session. And I've only just realised as well, Chatfield and Chung have set exactly the same times at the moment. Of course, Chatfield is ahead because he set the time first before Chung did. And that will get registered in the game, in fact, because, of course, Ferrari have a higher garage than Lamborghini because Lamborghini are a brand new team, so they occupy the last garage in the pit lane. So, Garber now then coming down towards the final corners. He starts his next lap, and we're hoping there's no traffic by the time he gets out of the first corners. He now starts his second flying lap, a lap that he needs to desperately improve and not make any mistakes whatsoever. Through into the first corner. Any traffic by the time he gets in? The answer to that is no, so he's going to get a clean lap in, as he's going to make his way up towards the Remus curve. As he now approaches Remus now then on the racetrack. As he now makes his way up towards Remus, and now coming out the turn. Let's see what his first sector is like. And he's actually 9 thousandths up on Carr in the first sector, 22 thousandths up on his personal best, in fact, as he now makes his way down towards turns 4 and 5 on the track. I think this is where they class turn 5 as, actually, this corner, which is a bit bizarre. But anyway, as now into turn 6 and 7 now, then we will go. And let's see what his second sector is going to be like. Only Chung and Quag are in the pit lane. Maybe that just Quag, because Chung has just come out as I just say that. And Garber 36 thousandths up in the second sector and 32 thousandths down. Now this is where he made his mistake. Let's see if he does it again this time, which he doesn't. He's actually kept it clean, so we're actually looking at a proper lap this time from Franco Garber. Let's see what his last sector is going to be like. Across the line goes Garber, he goes quickest by 88 thousandths of a second, a 1 minute 4.106. That's much better for Franco Garber. Lopez up on his personal best, and he's 51 thousandths down on Garber in the second sector, and over a tenth quicker than his personal best. Lopez, the defending champion, comes around the final 2 turns, still yet to get a victory in 2021, as Lopez comes down the pit string and across the line he will go, and he goes into second, 45 thousandths off of Garber, goes ahead of his teammate. His rope behind is just set is about to start another lap, as here comes Roland Motrin across the line, and he remains in 15th but improves on his personal best. Willows does not improve. Chatfield is not up on his personal best, as Chung in front is about to start her second flying lap very soon, and Chatfield does not improve. Here comes Evan Byrne in the Renault. He's up on his personal best, as he's currently in the drop zone now as a result of Garber's improvement, but he gets out of it and moves up into 5th. He pushes De Rosa now into the drop zone. Patel, he's in the drop zone across the line, and he goes up into 8th. That now pushes Galloway in the drop zone, as Gal has a moment coming out the final corner there, so he's made a mistake, and that lap is in the bin, and he was up on his personal best, but he doesn't improve and stays in 16th. Videri improves, but only up into 12th. He's still in the drop zone. Here is De Rosa, who's up on his personal best. He's currently also in the drop zone. Could he push Perinin perhaps down in the drop zone? De Rosa across the line, and he does. He goes up to 9th. So Perinin now in the drop zone. Roke on the cusp. Perinin across the line, only 10th for him at the moment. So he pushes Roke in the drop zone. Now he's been pushed back down to the drop zone because Galloway goes up into 10th. Here comes Amar Carr in the Mercedes across the line, and he does not improve. He stays where he is. Roke is up on his personal best, but I think he might have got held up, and he doesn't improve. He stays in 12th. He looks like the pit lane entrance. He may have been held up. In fact, he matched Garber in the middle sector there. But as a result of this hold up from, I think that was Lopez coming into the pits there, that has cost him any chance of potentially making it a Red Bull 1-2 there. So, it's unfortunate for him there, as Chung is currently down on her personal best. She's coming around the final corner as she now makes her way down the pit straight and across the line. Will go to Lamborghini driver, and she does not improve. She stays in 7th place for the moment. Quag is not up on his personal best. He's 1.3 off of Garber in the middle sector and 6 tenths off his personal best. He was 5 tenths down in the first sector to his personal best. So this has not been a very good lap for Roman Quag regardless, as he now comes down the pit straight and no improvement. He stays in 14th position, as I think that's everybody's second laps done with. So at the moment, Garber at the top, but it could have been a Red Bull 1-2 there, Dennis, because Roke had actually matched Garber in the middle sector, but because of that hold up from Lopez, he's got to do it again if he wants to make it through into the final part of qualifying.
Yeah, definitely. It was very quickly that the pressure turned around at Red Bull, because now it's Frank Gamba who's fastest and Roke who's in the bottom 6. But yeah, for Roke it was very unlucky. Maybe it was Mercedes tactics, but we will see. But Roke definitely...
Go on, continue.
Yeah, Roke definitely... No, he needs to improve to get into the top 10.
it's his turn to basically improve, basically, and he really needs to improve. We saw earlier that Gal was also looking at an improvement, but then he made a mistake, of course, coming out of that final corner. He could have been a little. I wouldn't have expected him to get into the top 10, but he could have been a lot higher than 16th looking at that lap, Dennis.
Yep, indeed. But yeah, it's still a bit of time for Gal and everyone else, so it's just over when the checker flag comes out.
Indeed. Garber out on track again, presumably maybe for his final flying lap. Depends how much time there is left on the clock by the time he gets back around to finish his third flying lap, of course. But looking to see if he can further improve on that 1 minute 4.106. We saw in Q1, of course, that Evan Byrne broke into the 1 minute 3. So currently that's the fastest time we've seen so far this week here at the Red Bull Ring. So whether Garber can eclipse that or not in this session, we'll have to wait and see. Willers is on track, Byrne on track, Chatfield is on track as well. So is Motrin. He's giving himself one more chance to get himself through into Q3 and give himself a better chance of getting higher up the order before experiencing the pain of the 5-place grid penalty. As Garber starts his third flying lap, potentially his final one of Q2. We'll have to wait and see. There's a Mercedes coming out on track, but luckily Garber is not going to get held up there by the Mercedes of that looks to be Armar car, judging from the helmet there. So Garber now then makes his way up towards the Remus curve. And let's see what his first sector is like compared to his personal best now then. And he's 25 thousandths down in the first sector at this point. As meanwhile, Perinen has gone back out. He obviously needs to because he's currently in the drop zone. Same with Roke, who's also gone back out onto the racetrack as well. So both of them really need to find an improvement. Galloway has also got out on track as he's currently in the cusp of the top 10. And so is De Rosa at the same time in the McLaren. Let's see what Garmer's second sector is like, because it was weak, let's not forget, early on, and it's still not the best in the second sector. 1/10 down on his personal best, just over a 10th, I should say, as he now rounds the final 2 turns on the racetrack. Through the final corner and onto the pit straight then goes Franco Garber in the Red Bull now then, and he does not improve. He says on 1 minute 4.106. The car starts his next lap as Willows now then approaching the end of sector 2. 6/10 down on Garber meanwhile, and doesn't look to be on a particularly good lap on this occasion as he's up in 4th anyway. So I think as long as unless there's a miracle that happens, I think Willows is safe enough to get through into Q3. But let's see. Willows across the line he goes. No improvement, stays where he is. Roke starting potentially, well, it will be his last chance to try and get through into Q3. Here is Byrne, who's not up on his personal best, currently in 5th place at the moment in this session, as Byrne now then comes down the pit straight as Gal in front starts one more flying lap. No improvement for Byrne, he stays where he is. Chatfield across the line, he stays where he is, which is P6. Lopez doesn't improve, got held up a bit there by one of the Alfa Romeos, I think that was, as we now look at Motrin, who's down on his personal best, and this will be his final flying lap, judging by how much time there is left on the clock, as Motrin crosses the line and he doesn't improve, he's out, so that's his qualifying done with. De Rosa also out, I think. No, he's 9th, sorry. I forgot. He's in the top 10. He was in the bottom 6 earlier. Galloway doesn't improve. He stays in 10th, so he's got to hope that he's done enough to get through into Q3. The man who won the French Grand Prix last time by and got himself up to 4th in the championship car doesn't improve. Here comes Perinen. He is up on his personal best, so it could be a threat for Galloway here. Perinen comes down the pit straight now then. Across the line, will come the Spaniard. Would he get through into the top 10? And no, he can't.
No.
Perinen is out. Jesus Perinen is out. He could only manage 11th. As we now look at Roke, who's down on his personal best, so Roke here could be eliminated. Of course, this is where he got held up, so he might recover the time here, but he doesn't.
No,
he's
it's out.
Roke is out. He stays in 12th, so one Red Bull is out at the team's home race. Perinen also out in 11th. Gally's up on his personal best, and he goes up to 14th, gets in front of Quag and Motrin, as now here comes Quag, speaking of which, who I think may have got held up at the pit entrance there by cars coming in, and he does not improve, so Quag is out, and yes, it was once again a Mercedes that was the culprit there, and, well, though he was...
he's got the Mercedes.
It was a Mercedes, not just on pit entrance, but also overtaking him down at the first corner as well. In fact, I think we did see that earlier on when Carr crossed the line, because I think there was an Alfa Romeo holding up a Mercedes earlier on. Turns out that was Quag, as Frederi is in the pit lane now then, and Frederi is out of qualifying as well. He's in 13th. Chung does not improve, and she stays in 7th place, as we now see who else is on a lap. Was there anybody else on a lap there, or was I... seeing things? No, I was seeing things, so I think that's that done with. So we've got our bottom 6, Perinen and Roke, out in Q number 2, Dennis. So big shocks there.
Yeah, it's a double shock. One driver of these two being out is one shock, but both at the same time is absolutely shocking.
Indeed so. And Motrin, of course, out in 16th, meaning that because of the 5-place grid penalty, he will start on the back row of the grid. He will start in 21st for tomorrow's Austrian Grand Prix as a result of his 5-place grid penalty. So, yet again, Aston Martin, for I think the 6th time this season, 7th time this season, have a car on the back row of the grid. So that's that really. It's a P21 start for Roland Motrin tomorrow. So that actually boosts Daniel Fraser up into 16th, I believe. But it's Garber at the top at the end of the session with Lopez in second, and then in third it is Armar. And your bottom six, as a reminder, are Perenin, Rote, two main shocks there, Verderi, Gal, Quarg, and Motrin. Motrin, of course, starting in 21st due to his 5-place grid penalty. So we're just going to take a brief pause, and then we'll be back for the final part of qualifying. But for the meantime, guys, you can let us know your prediction on who you believe will take pole position for tomorrow's Austrian Grand Prix. I think it's going to be quite a tricky one to predict, if I'm being totally honest with you, but you can give it a crack if you want. But in the meantime, I apologise if I go a little bit silent, as I just get the tweet prepared for Twitter, of course. So do bear with, guys.
Yes, you said it will be so tricky to predict who will get pole.
Well, I'm back now, and apparently Armar didn't know about the special livery. I thought Lopez would have told him, because it was his idea.
Yeah, I would have thought that as well, but apparently not.
I don't think it's been that rule for a while, Armar. I don't think it's been the rule for the last couple of years that the teammate has to agree on the livery anymore. I think it's been like that since 2019. I think Yubi changed the rule about that about a couple of seasons ago. So that. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, I think that rule got changed, if I'm not mistaken, Armar. So that's why it's on the car. So that's that. So anyway, we'll be preparing to get Q3 underway quite soon. So so that's that really, as we are waiting for Q3 to happen. So as I said, guys, in the meantime, let us know your prediction on who you believe will take pole position for tomorrow's Austrian Grand Prix. And yeah, so we'll be getting underway quite soon. So anyway, we wait for Q3 to happen, of course, as Yuri gets it set up. And as it's going to be quite interesting, of course, because I think it's going to be quite an unpredictable session, given that there hasn't really been a clear picture. Of course, one driver who won't be getting pole position, of course, that being Evan Byrne, because, of course, he does have that 5-place grid penalty. So wherever he ends up, he'll drop 5 places back. And even if he gets pole, he'll obviously drop the maximum he can start, of course, is 6th position. So that's that. As, of course, Motrin has been eliminated, so there won't be an effect on that one either. As here we go then, the stream is now back up on our screens, and we are going to get ready for the third part of qualifying. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. And I have to ask you, Dennis, who do you believe will take pole position for tomorrow's Austrian Grand Prix?
Okay, my prediction is that the Mercedes tactics will be a success. I think that Franco Lopez will take pole.
I'm going to go with Franco Gamba for pole position. I think he'll get the pole, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah, but either way, it's going to be quite hard to predict.
Yeah, indeed.
So, anyways, we're now in the garage. It's just busy typing something. As we now wait for the next part of qualifying to get underway and see who's going to be the first on the track. And then I'll read you guys' predictions in the stream chat. So I think was there a car that was just moving there, or was that my eyes deceiving me? I think my eyes were just deceiving me there. As I was quickly scrolling through tabs. But anyway, we now wait for the last part of qualifying to happen. As we now have Franco Lopez, who's going to be first out on track in the special liveried Mercedes, as he now comes out onto the racetrack. So now Franco Lopez is now out on the racetrack, as he's now going to start his next lap. As now he comes up towards the Remus curve. And as De Rosa is now out on the racetrack for McLaren. So let's read your predictions, guys. I don't think I heard the drilling again on Dennis's end. That's why I paused. Anyway, Ra says he believes that Evan will be fastest, but he believes that Laura Chung will assume the pole position as a result of Evan's penalty. Flo has said Franco Gamba will take pole. Von Chanek has said Carr will get pole. Xavier Weir said Gamba pole. Chris has said Gamba for pole. And Haley Bailey has said Chung for pole. So they are the ones who got the pole. They are the ones who are predicting who got the pole there. So who will get pole, sorry, as I'm getting my... as we are twisting my words there a little bit. But anyway, as Franco Lopez now then comes down the pit straight now then, as he's about to start his first flying lap of Q3, as all 10 cars are out on the racetrack, so Lopez is not going to have any issues when it comes to traffic, as he now comes out of the first corner and now making his way up towards the Remus curb. As now he will now approach the Remus curve very, very soon. And let's see what Lopez can do now then, as he approaches the end of the first sector. And his first sector time is going to be a 23.780. Let's see what that's like compared to everybody else. A 23.797 for De Rosa in the first sector. So only 3 thousandths up on Lopez in the first sector. Quite close there between the pair. Then we'll have to see what their sector 2 is like. A 23.948 for Carr. 23.944 for Byrne. A 23.985 for Chatfield. A 23.843 for Chung. A 23.832 for Willows as Lopez comes towards the end of the second sector. 49.792 in the second sector. 49.854. So De Rosa losing a bit of time to Lopez in that middle sector. So now Lopez comes around the final corner and onto the pit straight. And what is the benchmark time going to be? Lopez across the line. He will go, and it is a 1 minute 4.129. Here comes De Rosa. He slots to second, 62 thousandths behind. Here comes Amar Carr. He's 3 tenths down on Lopez in the second sector, so he's obviously down on De Rosa as well. Carr across the line, and he goes into third position. Evan Byrne, who obviously has that grid penalty, slots to third, gets in front of Carr there. Chatfield across the line, he goes into third himself. Laura Chung in the Lamborghini goes into third. Here comes Joseph Willows in the McLaren. Across the line will come the 2-time champion, and he goes into third, exactly a tenth behind Lopez. Here comes Franco Gamba, who's actually 4 tenths down on Lopez in the second sector. So either he's made a mistake or the car just wasn't set up correctly for that middle sector, and he's only P8 on that occasion. Is Franco Gamba 8 tenths off of Lopez. Here comes Jake Galloway in the Ferrari now. Then across the line he will go, and he goes into 8th, pushes Gamba down to 9th. As here comes Rahul Patel in the Lamborghini, and he goes into 6th with Gamba down to 10th. And I do wonder if his middle sector may have been a little bit scrappy there, Dennis. But at the moment, a name who we haven't seen at the top for quite a while, Franco Lopez, currently at the top.
Yeah, that was a very good effort from Lopez on the first one, and yeah, luckily he did get the job done on the first one, unlike last season, where that crash happened.
Yes, at least he's got through that phase. So well done, Lopez. At least you won't. At least you've got a time on the board this time, unlike last season. So Yeah, I'm just checking actually. Last time Lopez actually got pole was actually at the United States Grand Prix last season. So it has been a while since we've seen Lopez take a pole position in the top class. But of course, you may expect Gamba to improve and maybe Galloway as well. Gamba, I do suspect maybe something happened in that middle sector because he was not that far off of Lopez in the first sector, and they just seemed to all drop off in that second sector. Whether the car was set up correct, wasn't set up right for that run, or whether he made a mistake, I'm not sure, but it is something to bear in mind. Sorry if you can hear Discord alerts in the background. They keep going off on my end. So that's that. So far, Byrne currently lies in where is he? Byrne currently lies in 7th position at the moment. So if it were to stay like this, he will start in 12th for tomorrow's race. As of course, Byrne, like with Mochin, has that 5-place grid penalty. So far, Byrne will start in 12th position if it were to stay like this. So that's that really. As we now wait for the next runs to happen. Of course, currently the Lamborghinis are 4th and 6th, and as we now wait for the second runs to happen. As I was busy reading the chat there, that's why I was stuttering a little bit there. With just over 9.5 minutes to go then in this qualifying session to determine who will take pole position for tomorrow's Austrian Grand Prix here at the popular Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Styria. And the Styrian Mountains once again hoping for a very good race here at the Red Bull Ring. It was quite a good race here last season, it's fair to say, with Lopez winning from 10th on the grid, and also quite a good strategic race as well. So who knows, maybe something similar for this season, as it looks like this time it's Carr that's going to come out on track first this time instead of Franco Lopez, and it looks like De Rosa is following suit as well. So Lopez deciding to hang back on this occasion. So I think that's De Rosa anyway, and yes, it is De Rosa. In fact, I've only just realised the two McLarens currently 2nd and 3rd at the moment. So far, the two McLarens having a very strong session, but of course, that could still change. I am still expecting Garma to have a huge improvement, but you never know, of course. And who knows, really, you could expect Carr and Galloway to have some improvements as well. As Carr now makes his way down the hill, as he will now approach turns 6 and 7 on the racetrack, that is what they are classed on this circuit for some bizarre reason, but there we are. As now Carr preparing, just Willows, Patel and Garma just left to go out onto the racetrack to prepare for their second flying lap, as now Carr will make his way down towards the final 2 corners on the racetrack now then, as it's now just Patel and Willows left to go out on track, because Gamba has just gone back out onto the racetrack, and luckily should have some clear air because he waited for quite a while. Willows is now out on track, and it's just Patel left. Will Carr get any traffic via Patel? Let's see. The answer to that is no. Patel's going to hand back. So a clean lap then for Amar Carr, the championship leader in the Mercedes, as he now makes his way towards the Remus curve. Apologies if you can hear a little bit of a sound in the background. That was me moving my chair there. It seemed to make quite a weird noise as I was moving it along the floor. But anyway, he's 81 thousandths up on his personal best in the first sector, and 87 thousandths down on his teammate Lopez in the first sector as well, as Carr makes his way down towards the right-hander, as he will now make his way down towards turn 6 and 7 very soon. Round turn 5 and then into turn 6 and 7 will come the championship leader. Through the left-hander now then, using the curb on the outside, and now through into turn 7 will go Carr. Let's see what his second sector is like compared to Lopez, and it's 1/10 down, but he's 2/10 up on his personal best. So I think he might slot himself in around, I think, either 4th or 5th position from the way it's going, but we'll see. He might have a very good last sector for all we know. But anyway, Carr down the pit straight, across the line, will go to the championship leader, and he goes into 5th. He slots behind Laura Chung there. De Rosa doesn't improve, he stays in 2nd. Chris Chatfield is not on an improvement, he's currently in 6th. Across the line he goes, and he stays in 6th for the time being. Lopez is not up on his personal best, so far not improving on his current fastest lap, and he stays on a 1 minute 4.129 at the moment. Galloway up on his personal best, but he's down on Lopez, so let's see where Galloway can end up. Across the line will come the French Grand Prix winner, and he goes into 6th, gets in front of teammate Chatfield as Chung goes up into 3rd, so a big improvement there from the 4-time race winner. Evan Byrne not on an improvement. Across the line, he does not improve. Here comes Gamba, who's up, but only by 5 thousandths in the second sector, so really struggling with that middle sector is Franco Gamba, so he may have made a mistake, but not too much of a mistake. Here comes Gamba then, around the final corner and onto the pit straight. Can he improve? Across the line he will go, and he does, but remains in 10th place. He found a lot. He found a lot in the last sector, but not enough to climb up any positions. Here comes Willows across the line, no improvement. He stays where he is, which is P4. As Patel's up on Lopez, meanwhile. Patel has already had a pole this season, so let's see what Rahul Patel can do in the Lamborghini. Can he get his car onto the top of the timing sheets? Patel down the pit straight. Can he get onto the top? And yes, he can.
Yes, he can.
On a second. 1 minute 4.039 for Rahul Patel in the Lamborghini. Could we be looking at a second pole position for the Indian driver? Well, we've still got over 5.5 minutes to go, so that could still be beaten. But yeah, a bit strange for Garber, really, because he seems to still be a little bit off, and he was up by 5,000 in the second sector. But yeah, he just can't seem to hook it up in this session, Dennis.
No, not really for him. This Q3 after having that good effort in Q2, I think now he can push more out of the car, but we still have one round to go for everybody, so it can change.
Indeed so. Patel, shockingly, at the top by nearly a tenth ahead of Franco Lopez, who's currently in second place at the moment in the Mercedes. But of course, this could still all change. At the moment, with Burn down in 9th, he will start in 14th for tomorrow's Austrian Grand Prix if it were to remain like this for the remainder of this Q3 session. But we wait to see what the final flying laps have in store as Patel comes back into the pits to get himself ready to try and see if he can defend that lap time and try and see if he can hold on to potentially a second ever pole position for himself and Lamborghini, as Laura Chung currently in fourth. So far, a very strong session for the two Lamborghini drivers. We wait to see who's going to get out there first. Will it be Carr again, or will it be somebody else? Maybe De Rosa? We'll see, as Patel getting pushed back into the garage now then. And let's see what we have in store. It is a Mercedes, and it is yet again Armar Carr that comes out on track, first of all, for what could be the final runs of Q3 now. Then this car comes out of the pit lane as he will be preparing to start his final flying lap very soon, and getting a bit of a gap to the car who will be joining him very soon behind, that being Kirishima De Rosa. So De Rosa ensuring there's a gap between himself and Armar Carr there as they now go up towards the Remus curve. Now we'll be approaching the downhill section very, very soon, as now we will be approaching turn number 4 and 5 very soon on the racetrack. So through turn 4, and then through, this is classed as turn 5 for some reason, I believe, from looking at the track map. I believe it was this corner anyway. I know that one of the curves before Remus is classed as the corner for some reason, but here we are. As now Carr now then makes his way through turns 7 and 8 before approaching the final 2 turns of turns 9 and 10. As Carr will be preparing for his final flying lap of Q3. I do believe this will be his final flying lap. But anyways, there's still a few cars in the pit lane. Will there be any traffic by the time he gets up to turn 1? Let's see. As he starts his final flying lap, just keep an eye on the right-hand side of the pit exit. There's nobody there at the moment, but is there anybody there by the time he gets to the exit? And the answer to that is no. So another clean lap in the process then for the championship leaders, who ride on board with Carr now. They're making his way up towards the Remus curve now then. Let's see what Carr is able to do then in the first sector. Can he improve on his personal best? Let's see. Carr approaching the end of the first sector, and he's 61 thousandths up in the first sector, but 41 thousandths down on Patel in that first sector. So Carr now then makes his way down towards turns 4, and then it will turn into turn 5 very soon, as he uses all the curb on the outside around this long sweeping right hander before making his way through turn 6 and 7 now then. Quite a medium speed section of corners now then, using the curb on the outside through into turns 7 and then into 8. Let's see what his second sector is like, and he is 73 thousandths up on his personal best, but 1/10 down on Patel. So I would imagine he'll be around about maybe in 4th or 5th again, but let's see. Through the final corner and onto the pit straight goes the championship leader, Armar Carr. Across the line, he will go on his final flying lap. Where does he go? And he goes still 6th, in fact. Loses a bit of time, but still improves nonetheless. Sorry for the drilling on Dennis's end. Here comes Kirishima De Rosa, who comes down the pit straight, and no improvement. He stays where he is. Lopez is not up on his personal best either, so far, not threatening Patel at this point in time, unless he can find something in the middle sectors. The Argentine now then comes down towards turns 7 and 8 now then. Franco Lopez approaching the middle sector, and he's 1/10 down in that middle sector compared to Patel, and 800ths off on his personal best. So now through the final 2 corners, as he now approaches the final corner and onto the pit straight, will go Franco Lopez in the Mercedes. Across the line he will go, and he does not improve. He stays where he is. Byrne now then comes down the pit straight and across the line We'll go the Irishman, and no improvement. He stays where he is. Here comes Joseph Willows. Across the line he goes in the McLaren. No improvement. Stays where he is. Garber is up on his personal best, but not up on Patel though. He's 3 tenths down on him in the middle sector. Across the line goes Garber, and he goes only up into 8th place. Patel starts one more flying lap. Galloway across the line. No improvement. Stays where he is. Chatfield crosses the line. No improvement for him either. Here comes Chung now, then, who just comes around the final 2 turns in the second Lamborghini now, then, who comes down the pit straight. Across the line she will go. She's currently in 4th position. Can she make it a Lamborghini front with a lockout? No, she can't. She stays in 2nd place, and it's only Patel, I think, that's doing a lap. So I think as a result, we're looking at the second ever pole position for Rahul Patel. But can he improve on that lap? That is the question. And so far, the answer to that is no, because he's got one of the Red Bulls in front of him, and I presume that Red Bull is going to hold him up by the time that Red Bull comes into the pit. So, yeah, Rahul Patel takes his second ever pole position, and Lamborghini's second ever pole as well. A very, very strong effort again from Patel. It must have something to do with the fact that it's got Austria in its name as well. He took pole at the Australian Grand Prix, and he's taken pole at the Austrian Grand Prix. So it must have something to do with some of the letterings in some of the countries, really, that makes Patel strong. I don't know why. But anyway, yeah, as expected, Patel does get held up by Garber, who was heading back into the pits. But across the line, it won't matter anyway. But just for reference, across the line, he does a 1 minute 6.14 because of that hold up. But either way, doesn't matter, because for the second time this season, Rahul Patel is on pole position for tomorrow's Austrian Grand Prix. And we're now going to take a look at how he got pole for that race. So enjoy it. And that is how Patel took pole position for tomorrow's Austrian Grand Prix. A very good lap indeed, and a surprising one indeed for that measure as well. It's the second time he'll start on pole, but the question is, could he potentially get his and Lamborghini's first ever win? Maybe even Patel's first ever podium as well. I would say Lamborghini's first ever podium, but that already came at Portugal via Laura Chum. But anyway, Rahul Patel is on pole with Franco Lopez in second. Kirishima De Rosa is in third. A very good effort from him with Laura Chung in fourth. Joseph Willows is in fifth with championship leader Amar Kar in sixth. Jake Galloway is in seventh, followed by Franco Garber in a disappointing 8th. Chris Chatfield is in 9th, so 7th and 9th for the 2 Ferraris. And Evan Byrne did qualify in 10th, but because of his 5-place grid penalty, he will start in 15th for tomorrow's... he will start in 15th place for tomorrow's Austrian Grand Prix. So that's that, really. But overall, Dennis, a very, very good qualifying session indeed.
Yeah, it was a very good qualifying session indeed. It was very close in all 3 sessions, and yeah, well-deserved pole for Rahul Patel.
Indeed, so.
Yeah, it was a good effort from Lopez, and also from De Rosa in third.
Indeed so, and it'll be very interesting to see whether he will get his first win or not tomorrow, and even Lamborghini as well. Well, that has been it then from the qualifying session. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It has been a very, very exciting session, as predicted, and it will be interesting to see what Patel will do tomorrow. But of course, we're not done with live streams just yet, because coming up in exactly an hour's time, we of course have the Formula 2 race here at Spielberg, which sees Benz Valdinger on pole position. So it'd be interesting to see how he does in that race. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, we won't be doing the commentary for tomorrow in the top class because we allowed George to do that for the highlights. But you may hear my voice tomorrow because of the entrance series, the first ever entrance series meeting here at the Red Bull Ring. So do look out for that one tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. BST. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you have enjoyed it. So thank you all for watching. I've been JW97. He's been Dennis Graff. And we will see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. BST for the 71 lap Austrian Grand Prix. Till then, take care.